be able to come out and see us today here at the Treehouse. We got a guest list because of the Commander. It's second to none. You're always fired up when you bring on Smokin' Jim, the new Hall of Famer, Jim Leyland.
Well, let's see. So for Jim Leyland, he went into the Baseball Hall of Fame this summer. He went into the Pirates Hall of Fame with Barry Bonds this summer. And I believe Detroit just retired his number 10 as well. So it's been a big year for Smokin' Jim Leyland, one of the greatest managers of all time.
World Series champion in 1997 with the Marlins, three-time manager of the year, 90, 92, and 2006. He got 93.8% of the vote in the Contemporary Baseball Era Committee vote and went in this year, and also was a part of a gold medal team in Los Angeles 2017 in the World Baseball Classic. You want to talk about a career managed 3,499 games, won 1,769, lost 1,728. It's amazing when you look at baseball. And a little bit later today, we will be talking to Mark Kotsay. It's the Mark Kotsay Show and also the David Forst Show. So we got the GM and the manager together today, both their shows. Which one's going first?
David Forst.
David Forst at 5 o'clock, and then we'll have Mark Kotsay after that. Jacob Wilson is going to join us here in the Treehouse. We just don't know what time. It'll be sometime after batting practice. A lot to talk to. We haven't talked to him since he's been called up, have we?
No, last time was when he was in Midland.
Because he got called up and he got hurt.
Yeah.
And I think I was on vacation.
No, he got.
Or was I on TV?
You think you're on TV? Because, yeah, you're on TV.
So
it was out through the All-Star break.
He gets called up, boom, gets hurt. Then he goes back down, and then we don't get guys when they're injured. But Jacob Wilson will join us today. But talking to Mark Kotsay, it is special, the relationships that happen in our business. Our business is just different because of the time you spend together. We are together constantly. And sometimes, and maybe I'm a little ornery because it's the end of the season, right? And I'm ready to start winding it down. I get tired of talking about the players. The players are paid handsomely. We take care of their every wants and needs. And oh, by the way, in my career, players come and go. They come and they go. But the relationships that are built, like with someone like Jim Leyland and Mark Kotsay, or myself and Mark Kotsay. I've known Mark Kotsay a long, long time. Heck, we played against each other in college. The amount of time we spend together, the amount of time we all spend together working in this organization, that's what makes our sport truly different, is the amount of time invested in each other. And when you look at a relationship like Mark Kotsay, because think of how many players played for Jim Leyland and what a guy like Mark Kotsay meant to him, as Mark Kotsay was just a first-round pick out of Cal State Fullerton. He came up with the Marlins. And next thing you know, Jim Leyland's teaching him how to bet the ponies. We will have to get into that today, that to this day, Mark Kotsay still likes betting the ponies. And the reason why, it's because of the Hall of Fame manager, Jim Leyland, taught him how to do that. But that friendship lasts a long time. And to watch now a guy that you mentored now manage in the big leagues, it's the same thing with Bruce Bochy and Mark Kotsay. Bruce Bochy had how many players play for him, but obviously the relationship with Mark Kotsay is something special, as Mark Kotsay was on his staff for the All-Star game in Texas. So I'm really looking forward to talking to Jim Leyland about that. I mean, we could talk about the Tigers. Tigers with a huge win. Parker Meadows last night, they were down. It looked like San Diego, who has the best record in baseball since the All-Star break. It looked like the Tigers were in trouble down at Petco Park, and then they hit a grand slam and ended up winning it, kind of stealing one on the way out there. And something that a lot of people haven't talked about in rebuild mode, because no doubt Detroit's in rebuild mode, and crazy to think that this is their only time at the Coliseum. Like, we haven't seen Detroit yet this year, but Detroit is 71-70. You talk about a rebuild that's kind of going pretty quick. Tarek Skubal going to be on the mound today. He is the front runner right now. If you're betting on American League Cy Young, he is your front runner. He is in line to be one of the few pitchers in the history of the game to win the Triple Crown. That is wins. Wins still matter, right?
Yeah.
ERA and strikeouts. And he's going to be on the mound against Mitch Spence. So Detroit, a game over 500. They come to town, and Jim Leyland is still a consultant for the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah, usually when we talk to him, he's always like scouting the Erie team or, the team in Akron or, Toledo.
The Lake
Toledo.
Erie team. They got a team in Lake Erie.
And I believe they have a team in Toledo. So he's always, every time we talk to him, he's always telling me how he's out on when he texts back, he's out on the road or whatever. But he didn't say anything this time. But, I mean, he has great stories about just coming to this venue also. So, like, there's a lot of,
we're still angry about 12 and 13 against Jim Leyland. I mean, you think about that. I mean, how things could be different. Our lives could be completely different if the A's would have won either of those series against Detroit. May not be. It may be. A team can go on a run and a lot of things can happen after that. 2012, this A's team had something. It was something special. What if they get past Verlander in Detroit? What about in 2013? That team was stacked. What if they get past Detroit? What if they get past Detroit both times? I mean, it didn't happen, so we don't. I mean, obviously we don't know. But what if they do get past those teams? Are they able to keep moving on? Can they go to a World Series? What if they win a World Series? How different? I remember after 2012, it was so deflating. 2012. Losing to the Tigers after all that momentum, it was just, and then of course the Giants would go on and win the World Series to make it even worse. But it was so deflating. I will never forget walking my dog. I live in an area called Willow Glen down in San Jose. And I remember getting coffee with my wife, had the dog, and Josh Donaldson called me. And I remember standing where I was, and the wife went on. She was looking at shops and stuff, and talking to Josh Donaldson because he didn't play well against Detroit. He didn't hit, and he was upset. And to think about all the passion and everything that we had in that series, this place was rocking, obviously. When you think about some of the great times in Coliseum history, I think 2012, where all the Tiger players, and we can ask Jim Leyland about this, where they all said this is the last stadium they've ever been in. It felt like a Raider game. And when it all ended, I remember that post-game show. I remember hugging Ray Fosse and Ken and Vince and just being very emotional because you couldn't believe the roller coaster ride was over. You couldn't believe that this ride, the adrenaline rush, just the push for the playoffs to chase Texas down, and how is this happening? Oh my God, it's unbelievable. Back then I was still doing the Billy Bean show, and to think that it was all over, it was done. And I remember a few days later, Josh Donaldson calling me, and he was so bummed. I think we all were, right? It was just, it's one of those moments in A's history that we're for us fans that were around it, we're never going to forget it. It's our We Believe team. When we talk about the We Believe Warriors and the run to take down the Mavericks, who were the number one seed, but this was the We Believe team. What if that team seemed like a team of destiny? What if they would have got over the hump? What if that team had won that series? Who knows? And then what confidence does that bring the next year's team as you're now introducing new players and you're introducing a much better team? That was a really good team in 2013 that once again loses to Detroit. Who knows? Who knows what base? I mean, does the city, it's tough to play the what if. Does the city change? Does everybody get fired up about A's baseball? I don't know. But it's Jim Leyland and his Tigers. It's his fault, and we're going to bring him on to unfortunately rehash that. No, but a lot of respect for Jim Leyland. You think about one of the great managers and friend of this program, the great Tony La Russa. Are we calling Jim, by the way?
Yeah, we're calling. We still got a couple minutes.
Okay. Tony La Russa, what Tony La Russa, the Hall of Famer and A's Hall of Famer, what Tony La Russa meant to Jim Leyland's career. Jim Leyland is a very accomplished man. And Mark Kotsay will tell you all the time, we didn't get much into this, but he's also really brilliant. He's a very accomplished piano player. He's a great singer. There's like all these things about Jim Leyland. No, you just see the old grumpy baseball guy with the cigarette. I guess
the cleats.
And it's still wearing spikes, and yet he's like this great piano player. He's funny, but he's a really good singer. And now, more importantly, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, it's well-deserving. 3-time manager of the year. People forget that he was a manager of the Rockies because he didn't really do much there, but you remember him with the Marlins, winning the World Series there, what he did in Pittsburgh.
I remember him with the Marlins. I remember him with the Pirates. I remember him with Detroit. I do not want to remember him with the Rockies.
Yeah, it's like a footnote. It's like when a guy plays on a team, like Mike Piazza as a Marlin.
Where are we with the Rockies? Like the Rockies are like so like every single night when I'm watching Quick Pitch and the Rockies come up, and if they're not playing of someone significant, it's like the Rockies.
They're just like the Marlins. Except for the Marlins have won 2 World Series. Either one of them have never won their division, which is still remarkable that you've been around since the mid-'90s and you've never won your division still.
It's the Rockies. It's the Rockies. There's like nothing about them. By the way, what are you wearing? What do we got?
It's for Latin. It's for Latin and Hispanic Heritage Night presented by Corona.
So we turned it into a soccer jersey.
Yeah, it's a Hispanic football jersey. I took many years of Spanish.
Football jersey.
Yeah. So that's a giveaway today for the game. So I wanted to wear it. My other thing I had on was no one cares, no one knows them. The Milwaukee Maulers here.
What do you mean no one knows the Mauler? Everybody knows the Mauler.
Well, the Mauler, he made Milwaukee famous.
Is he showing up today, the Mauler?
He's supposed to be here, yeah.
So I got to tell you, one of our great fans, tremendous artist and wrestling champion. Yesterday, Vince is like, hey, the Mauler's here. And I go, yeah, I know. He's the big dude standing behind home plate during BP. He's like, yeah, you can't miss the Milwaukee Mauler.
Now he's a barista.
How many championships did the Mauler win?
I don't know for certain. We'll have to get it. I never actually asked him.
I mean, how many officially did Ric Flair end up winning?
16-time world champion. Don't you forget it.
I mean, Tom Brady. Everybody talks about Tom Brady. What about the greatness of Ric Flair?
Well, the big thing, and not to get into it, but the big thing is John Cena is retiring, and they're both 16-time champions. So once Cena wins.
How is John Cena 16-time champion?
And he's done it all in one company. Flair's done it in multiple companies.
Oh, we got our happy hour list. We got the old happy hour list. Izzy came by. It's happy hour time.
Okay, I'm calling Jim Leyland.
Dude, Chris Carey, you going to wave hi? Wait, where is he? Wave hi. That's Chris Carey. You might see him a little bit later today on NBC Sports California.
I think we might have him. We'll see.
Jim, are you there?
Hello.
Jim, welcome back to A's Cast Live. How are you?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Well, I got to tell you, we recently just did our Hall of Fame induction ceremony here. Your good friend Tony La Russa was a part of it as he brought Jose Canseco out to get his green jacket, and I got to talk to him about you going in. Obviously, he's so thrilled. Just what is it like now that you've had that time? You've done the speech. You've been to Cooperstown. What does it truly mean to be a baseball Hall of Famer?
Well, you got to pinch yourself once in a while to really believe it. But it's been a wonderful ride this summer. It's been a hectic ride for me and my family, but a nice ride. So, very pleased. It's a special place and very difficult place to get to. And to think that I've got there is quite an honor.
You know, we talked earlier to a guy that loves you to death. Every single week we have the Mark Kotsay show, and this week's show, we let off talking about you, letting Mark know that we're going to have you on the program today. And, this business is truly about relationships and all the different places that you've been in professional baseball, just not the big league level, but the minor league level. What was it like when you had everybody reaching out to you? I'm sure there's people from way, way back in your history who reached out. What was that like? So many people reconnecting, knowing that you were going to the Hall of Fame and they wanted to pay their respects.
And that's really one thing that was really nice about it, because I probably got more texts from the guys that played for me in the minors than I did for guys that played for me in the majors. So that was quite a thrill to me. And they all tell me what they're doing now and their families, and some of them are retired already, and what their kids are doing. So it was, it brought back a lot of wonderful memories for me. Those guys are guys that, didn't make it to the big leagues like I did as a player, and I knew what they were going through. So it was great to reconnect with a bunch of those guys.
Yeah, to think of how many young men that you touched their lives. Do you ever get a chance to reflect on that? So many different players, just all the different people that you helped them, and probably still to this day they think about things that you taught them.
Well, it makes me feel good, obviously, because you hope that you made an impact on their life, whether they ended up playing in the big leagues or not is irrelevant, really. So you hope that you made a positive influence on their life. You hope that you made them a better person when they left baseball and to go on with their families and create their own career or their own business, whatever they did. So it's very rewarding to think that you touched a lot of people's life, but all those guys touched my life too, and that was very important for me as well. So it was great relationships, as you said. It's about relationships over the years, and guys that you met as young players and guys that grew up into young men and went on with their lives and whatever they decided to do. So very impactful for me and very special.
Well, I got to tell you, Mark Kotsay has told us the story multiple times, and he retold it earlier today about here he is, Cal State Fullerton. He's the number one. He's a first-round pick by you guys with the Marlins. You bring him up, and he always jokes that he learned how to bet the ponies, and he learned horse racing through you down there in South Florida. What was it like having a young Mark Kotsay come up? You'd win a World Series, but really it was 98 when he would really be a rookie, and you'd play a big part in the start of his career.
Well, it was great. It was just another way to relax players, young players, give them something else and not put so much pressure on themselves. Mark and I had a great relationship. He was always one of my favorites, to be honest with you. He was the Golden Spikes winner, I believe.
Yeah.
In California's senior year. So, I had heard a lot about him, and of course, he ended up being a very good player and played in the major leagues for a long time, and is now a very good manager. And it looks like they're starting to turn things around out there. So, I couldn't be happier for him. He interviewed for the Tiger job when AJ ended up getting the job, but I think Mark was a very close second.
Yeah, he told us you drove him to the interview.
That's correct. That's correct.
So how does that make you feel that somebody that you helped mold is now doing so well here with the A's, a guy like Mark Kotsay, where I'm sure there's a lot of things that he's taken from you over the years?
Well, everybody has to be themselves. I was never a guy that, when they used to ask me sometimes, well, who does this young player remind you of? I always like every player to have his own identity, and I like every manager to have his own identity. And, Mark's his own man, and, he's going to make good decisions based on a long career as a player, based on the managers that he played for. He's going to think about things. He's going to calculate. And, at the end of the day, all managers are the same. We make decisions that we think give our team the best chance to win the game.
We think about Coliseum memories, and two memories that we were all a part of, way better for you in the end than it was for us. But I think about the magical run for the A's in 2012, and then to finish that up with the way the A's played in 2013. Both would end in defeats to your Detroit Tiger teams and Justin Verlander on the mound, truly one of the great pitchers of his time. When you remember how the packed house was here, how loud it was here at the Coliseum, can you just give us some of your memories, what it was like in 2013 and 2012 in the playoffs?
Yeah, it was obviously very loud and could be very distracting if you let it be because, and I don't mean this critically, but the playoff, the attendance at the playoff was a lot different than what we were used to playing through during the regular season. So it was a whole new baseball world when you went to the Coliseum for the playoffs than it was during the regular season. And it was something you had to contend with. There was the crowd was, extremely noisy, extremely loud. I think they were playing trumpets and horns. It was wild, but fortunately, Verlander came through and pitched two of the best games I've ever seen him pitch against those Oakland teams. And I think we beat Sonny Gray the one time when Cabrera hit a 2-run homer. That's all we got. So they were absolutely great games. And it was kind of ironic because I was managing against a guy that I had as a player in the instruction league, Bob Melvin, who played for the Tigers and caught in the Tiger organization. So, that was a little bit different too. Bob's a great friend of mine. And, one of us was going to be happy and one of us wasn't going to be. But, that's the way it goes. And we won two big games there. Very fortunate. But Verlander set the pace for both those games.
There's no doubt about it. When we look at Verlander's career stats against the A's, we just always say we wish he would have been drafted by somebody in the National League and life could have been different for our organization. If you could just talk a little more about that, about Justin Verlander in those games, because these were red-hot A's teams. These were red-hot teams that had a lot of confidence, feeling that they could beat your Tiger teams in the postseason. And in the end, truly, a future Hall of Famer, Justin Verlander was the difference. Game 5, 2 straight years.
Yeah, there's no question about that. He was locked in. He was zeroed in the whole time. He's a pretty good big game pitcher, obviously. He's pitched a long time and certainly a first ballot Hall of Famer. So, it wasn't an easy task for those Oakland hitters, even though they were hot, as you said, and playing good. But, the old saying, good pitching normally beats good hitting. And, I think Verlander felt comfortable there because it sounds crazy, but I think he really appreciated the foul territory where, hitters could pop up and, a fielder could get to it and make a catch and not give the guy an extra couple swings because of that ballpark. So I think he really enjoyed pitching there.
We know you're still around the Tigers organization, and, with the win yesterday in San Diego, a late grand slam propelled them over the Padres, and you're looking at 71 and 70. We heard so much about Tigers in the rebuild, but 71 and 70 during on the way up on a rebuild is not a bad record. So just tell us what you've seen so far this season with A.J. Hinch and the Detroit Tigers.
Well, I think A.J.'s done a miraculous job. He's been using openers quite a bit for the last month or so because some of our pitching got hurt. Just an absolute fantastic job. He's been a miracle worker with that staff from that standpoint. I think he might be the best I've ever seen using pinch hitters. So that's that part of it. And then we really have some good young players, and they're good competitive young players. They're getting better every day. We're still a long shot maybe to get in, but I think we actually have a chance.
Yeah.
Without putting any pressure on anybody. I think AJ's handling it right. They're not really talking about postseason. AJ's got them where they believe. They go in every day and try to win that game, and if they don't, they turn the page and move on. So I think he's created a great atmosphere and a great mental tempo for them. And they're dangerous. I'll tell you, they're dangerous. They're a really good club. And of course, you're going to see maybe the best pitcher right now in the American League tonight in Skubal. So this is a very up-and-coming team. And whether they get there this year or not, I don't know. But they're going to be tough to contend with in the very near future.
Well, before we let you go, Mark Kotsay was telling us about what a great piano player you are and what a great singer you are. Like when people think about Jim Leyland and they think about your battles with the media and they think about, the tough calls and battling with umpires, people never bring up that you're a great entertainer. When did that come about and how often do you still do it?
Well, I'm not a good piano player, but I used to sing a lot. I used to sing in the choir. I used to sing weddings for people, and that carried on with me throughout my career. I love the old music. I love the old classic rock and roll type stuff, or the soft rock like the Lionel Richies and those kind of people. So that was just playing around, getting the guys, entertaining them once in a while, let them have a good laugh on me. And we had a lot of fun with it over the years, but I'm not a good piano player. I was a former trumpet player, not a piano player.
Well, I got to tell you, because like you said, with Bob Melvin, obviously the great relationship that you have with Tony La Russa, and you've been around this Coliseum for a long time, but I can't thank you enough for all the times you've come on our show. We were so happy for you to get the nod to get into the Baseball Hall of Fame. You're one of the great leaders of men of all time in our game. Your speech was fabulous. Thank you so much for your time, and good luck to the Tigers the rest of the way, and we'll talk to you later on. But first and foremost, congratulations on getting into the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Well, I appreciate it. It's always nice to be with you guys, and thanks for having me on.
Take care, Jim.
Okay.
The great Jim Leyland, now Baseball Hall of Famer, baseball legend. How many managers are in the Baseball Hall of Fame? How many?
Connie Mack.
Well, you just had 3 go in with La Russa, Torrey, and Bobby Cox.
Yeah, Leyland, so we're at 5 now.
24? We're at 24.
And I'll say it, we got 1 managing in American League West.
How do you know that?
You don't think Boach is going in?
He's an under 500 manager.
He's won 3 World Series.
He's under 5-4. He's won 4
actually,
World Series.
Oh, yes, that's right. I keep
He's under 500.
I know. Well, actually, another guy will be going in is Dusty Baker. 2,000 wins, won the World Series. I don't know how you don't put Dusty in. He's top 10 all
You're
the
not
time.
going to talk about all the losses, all the big losses? You guys and your future Hall of Famers.
You don't want him in because he took the ball from Russell Ortiz.
Game 6 in Anaheim, remember that? No! And all the Angels were like, what?
That's my wife. That's not getting married to me. My wife as a teenager, that was her crowning achievement. The Angels won small. Like, haven't been in the playoffs since 2015, but they won the World Series.
Did that really happen?
What?
The Angels won the World Series. Does anybody even remember it?
I mean, everyone.
So long ago.
What everyone remembers from that year was that the Hatterberg walk-off, the 20-game winning streak, all that's annoying. I mean.
All right, so you got Dusty, you got Bochy.
I don't know
if Dave Roberts gets another one or two, because he's going to have a lot of victories.
A lot of wins, yeah.
What about Alex Cora? Now the cheating scandal.
Yeah, that's.
Think about that. How about Booney? Huh? How about your guy, my Yankee hack over here? How's your boy Booney doing? Melvin's got to get a World Series.
Yes. Melvin's going. I'm trying to think.
Melvin's got to get a World Series.
Is there anyone currently going?
And
right
then now we're just completely diminishing the role of the managers. So
yeah,
managers going into the Hall of Fame may start to be like pitchers going into the Hall of Fame. Oh, you're gonna like this. I asked David Forst about it. We are currently at what number of pitchers used this season?
Updated since yesterday, 822 now.
822. How in the heck can you as a front office, and I've been trying to condition our callers on the Clubhouse show that we need to stop with the he's an ace or he's a middle of the rotation guy or he's a 4-5 guy. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You're going to use 14 guys this year. Like, you have to, get it out of your mind of a 5-man rotation. You got to think of yourself as hey, do we got 13 guys that can start this year? How many guys? So I asked David Forst. I'm not going to tell you what he said, but I'm going to ask David Forst, how do you plan on how do you plan on pitching staff? You've got no idea. Week 1. Who's going to be here in July? Who's going to be here in August? Who's going to be here in September? You got no. He brings up Beto, by the way, and it's a great example, right?
Not Beto.
Beto. I got to meet Amelia Schimmel, voice of the stadium, told me Beto. Oh, now she's getting.
Now she's changing.
Now she's throwing an accent in there.
Now she's flip-flopping.
Beto. Well, he's not French. Beto. Yeah. So that's what I'm going with. Look at you guys all festive. Can they see you? Look how festive you guys are. I like it. How are we doing? Everybody good?
We're at 12 starters, by the way. The A's have used 12.
We've used 12 starters. What would you have said in spring training?
Well,
could you name me? Hey, these are the 12 guys that are going to start for us.
What do you think Dave Roberts said when he goes, by the way, we have 17 different starting pitchers already this year. 17. The Angels have 18.
This will be the one thing that football happened last night. Everybody was watching. And just to kind of give you an idea of the problem, is after the game, Kermit the Frog's up there talking.
Oh, wow. Chiefs hate already.
Oh, Taylor Swift's in the building. T-Sizzle.
Travis Kelce, not a fan of his mustache.
And at the end of the game, who's got the football?
Lamar Jackson, the quarterback.
End of the game, he's throwing it. Catch. Boom. On the line. No touchdown. John Harbaugh was going for 2. But my point is, who had the ball?
Lamar, the quarterback.
The quarterback. Do you know who he is?
It's 2-time MVP.
Have you been watching him for years?
I have since Louisville.
Is he a star player?
Yes.
Who's got the ball at the end of the game for us? Random unknown reliever for the Detroit Tigers will be, and for them, random unknown reliever for the. No offense, but when Tyler Ferguson takes the mound, a guy who's a career minor leaguer, and he comes in the 8, let's say the A's have we'll use us an example. Let's say the A's have the lead in the 8th inning. Tyler Ferguson comes in. He's a career minor league pitcher is going to be in the 8th inning setting up for Mason Miller, how many people in the Detroit, Michigan area, the Great Lakes area, know who the heck Tyler Ferguson is?
I'm going to go with none.
But yet, Thursday Night Football, the guy with the ball is Lamar Jackson. That is the point. I've been saying this. The guy with the ball needs to be something. And we've diminished it so much that we have 822, you said? 822 different pitchers this year. There's not 822 men qualified to pitch in Major League Baseball. There's just not. Scott Emerson has admitted that, the pitching coach of the A's. There's not 822. And David Forst is going to talk about they've depleted all the pitching. Like they've depleted. Like we're lucky. Midland. The Midland Rockhounds are going to the postseason. They are lucky they're going to be able to have a staff to pitch in that postseason. They've been able to put together a staff, and you have this money. You got those people in AA, they're paying money.
Yeah.
Right? We're talking about people paying money here in the big league level. Well, those fans are paying money, and they're going to the games, and we're like scraping together a pitching staff for our AA team just to play in the postseason. What the hell is going on around here?
I love that drop, that quote. It's who was that? Isn't that Steve or
it's Vince Lombardi.
what was Weish?
What the hell is going on around here?
Doesn't Weish have a good one too, though? Sam Weish.
Sam Weish had a lot of great ones because he was a nut job. Hank Stram had some great ones, the old Kansas City Chiefs coach. But the famous one, he's in a visor. I believe it's at the Rose Bowl. What the hell is going on around here? That's Vincent Lombardi.
They showed
the trophy when you win the Super Bowl is named after him.
I love when they showed.
You might have heard of him, Green Bay Packers.
Not to talk too much football, but when they showed, they were showing the images around Kansas City and at Arrowhead, and I saw the Lenny Dawson. I think it was a Fresca photo.
When he's smoking a cigarette halftime at the Super Bowl with a Fresca and a folding out chair.
Yeah, that's all I can think.
Boy, things have changed. I'll tell you what, if you ever do get a chance to go to a Kansas City Chiefs game, I worked a couple there, college-like atmosphere. It's incredible. When the Raider buses pull in, everybody signals that you're number one, and they're throwing stuff at the bus. It's great. But
see, that's why you called him Kermit the Frog.
When you're on the field, it's incredible. Arrowhead's old school. It's old, and it's just like the way it's designed. It's super loud in there, and everywhere everybody wears red. It's like a college atmosphere. Like if you went to a game in Nebraska and everybody wears red at Nebraska. Pretty cool. But that's like the whole point that I get to. It's like at the end of the game, Steph Curry's got the ball. He's a star. We don't have like unknown random dude with the ball at the end of the game looking to get Klay Thompson the ball. The guy who handles the ball in sports should be, I'm not saying he has to be the best player, but he's going to be one of your best players, right? The point guard may not be your best player, but he's going to be somebody that matters. Our sport has diminished that. And on this date, check to see the on this date, Dodgers, Mets, Dodger Stadium. On this date, down at Dodger Stadium, it had to be in the 80s. You had Dwight Gooden up against Fernando Valenzuela, Fernando Mania, 51,000 people at Dodger Stadium, Mets Dodgers. Fernando went like 11. Gooden went 9. But that's what people came to see. People should be sitting here today going, hey, Tarek Skubal's on the mound. I got to go see that. Fathers and mothers should be bringing sons and daughters. I mean, this guy could win the Triple Crown. This guy is hell on wheels out on the mound. But this is modern day baseball. I'm hoping he goes 6, maybe. Olden days, and people go, the game's different. The game's only different because you made it different. Like, that's what kills me is we go, oh, the game's different. Like I heard Steve Phillips the other day with our guy Mad Dog going, oh, the game's different. The game's only different because you made it different, right? Like how many times now we're now hearing this all the time? Well, it's deep in the season. Got to monitor those innings.
Oh,
wait a minute. At the beginning of the season, you say it's the beginning of the season, and I got to worry about a guy.
It's early.
No, but for pitchers, we're worried about pitchers at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Now we're worried about the end of the year.
Yeah,
and then during the middle of the season, they're saying what? Wow, they're starting to rack up innings.
Well, I was going to say, because right now they're like, well, he's pitched a lot of innings.
Like, when can we pitch these
At
guys?
the beginning of the season, it's like, well, he's not ramped up. Like limited innings in spring training. Like the whole Blake Snell thing. Well, he doesn't really ramp up.
Yeah, when can we pitch these? So when you think about that, think about it. Back in the day, 51,000. Dwight Gooden, Fernando Valenzuela, and for some of you go, Fernando, was he that good? Yes, Fernando Mania back in the day. Fernando was hell on wheels.
Early 80s, he was awesome.
He was he was incredible. I mean, he lasted a long time. He pitched till he was like 46.
And Dwight Gooden was also really good.
Dwight Gooden, back in his day, we didn't talk about performance-enhancing drugs. They were doing different types of drugs. They weren't performance-enhancing. They were career-killing.
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
It was the 80s.
As A-Rod would say, it was a very loosey-goosey era in the 80s.
It was. I don't even. That was the kind of deal where the authorities were getting involved. It was the 80s were. I was a preteen into a teenager in the 80s, so that wasn't really my era. I'm more a 90s guy. But the 80s was cocaine was flooding into our country, right?
Yeah.
And Major League Baseball players had money. They go out at night. They were in the party scene. Clubs are still going on. You're in New York City in the 80s. They didn't have apps. Swipe right, swipe left, whatever you kids did.
Wow, you're talking about dating apps now. Wow.
They didn't have that back in those days.
They didn't have Uber.
There was no Uber. They went out to the clubs. So, I mean, Dwight Gooden doesn't get involved in all that. I mean, could have been maybe a Hall of Fame pitcher. Truly one of the greats of all time.
I did a deep dive.
But the point is,
on his numbers. They're incredible.
Look at Dwight Gooden, Fernando Valenzuela when they pitched on this day. What year was it? They just asked who we're looking for.
I'll do it.
They're back here drinking. That's what they're doing. They're back here drinking. They're back here drinking. Yeah, he's back here drinking. Yeah, there he is. There's my Yank. We can't see you. You can't reach for him. Here we go. Speaking of drinking, anybody want to show up for happy hour? That's what we got here in the Treehouse. Freedom Lemonade.
September 6, 1985.
1985, 51,000 Dodger Stadium. They didn't have Freedom Lemonade for $14 then in 1985.
No.
I can tell you that. Blue Moon Draft and also Hop Valley Citrus right here.
Citrus Mistress, right?
Here you go. There you go.
Fernando won 11 innings, gave up no runs, struck out 5.
11 innings Fernando went. What would happen if a guy went 11 innings today?
Well,
you got to save him for the postseason. Why? Why do I have to save a guy for the postseason? You don't let him pitch in the postseason either. You pull him early.
Doc Gooden was he was only 20, and he went 9 innings and struck out 10.
Am I right on that?
Yes.
Wait a minute. All right. We know now managers have a quick hook with starters in the postseason. So why are we saving them for the postseason?
It's a great question.
When's the last time we saw Hi, Mustang. When's the last time we saw a starter go 7 innings or more in the postseason? I think we had a couple last year.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at
when's the last time we saw a guy go a complete game?
Oh boy, Roy Halladay's no hitter. Roy Halladay's no hitter.
What are we saving starters for in the postseason? I don't know what they're talking about anymore.
What's the stat? I gave it before and I forget it. It was like the Dodgers have gone like 15 straight postseason games without their pitcher going into or getting through 5 innings.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
The old quick hook.
So, yeah, by the way, 51,868 at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, it's awesome, right? Can we get that back? Because, yesterday, into the game, not unknown quarterback, not unknown random dude handling the ball.
You're telling me Chad Henne didn't come in there?
Lamar Jackson had the ball. Yeah. Stars have the ball. At the end of the game, who's got the ball?
Star.
LeBron's going to have it. Steph's going to have it. Somebody's going to have it. It's not random guy off the bench. Hey, random guy, take your sweats off. You're not going to come in and play here at the end of the game.
The only time
That's
that happens,
not how other sports work.
The only time that happens is in March Madness when you don't know who the guy is.
Correct, but you don't care.
Yeah.
A note in baseball. I'm not shocked by this, but I am shocked by this. Jerry DiPoto, who we were just talking about. I talked to our guy Ryan Divish. I went down and talked to him a little bit. Ryan Divish, who you've heard and seen on the show, great job covering the Mariners, Seattle Times. One of our favorite beat writers. Funny guy.
Scott
Funny
Sobro.
guy. Funny guy.
What did he say the other day about Kelnick? He could be like a bouncer. You guys talking about him being a bouncer? That was so good.
He's not trying to be funny, but he's funny.
Yeah.
You know, like you have that friend who's super funny, but he's not trying to be funny.
Yeah,
that's Ryan Divish.
He started the interview by saying, "I hate everything. I hate Christmas. I just don't like anything."
He's a funny guy. And we talked about Jerry DiPoto, and he's like, Jerry DiPoto is not going to be gone. I'm like, really? How is Jerry DiPoto keeping his job? He's the guy who's the president of baseball operations for the Seattle Mariners. He just fired his manager, and yes, he's keeping his job. Now, the Houston Astros are keeping my Mariner hot take still alive, because if you're not following it, folks, the Big Red Machine just swept the Houston Astros, and the Houston Astros are like not playing well right now. So all of a sudden, when I look at the standings, I go, damn. So there's I think Seattle has no chance at the wild card, but
they're not that far back. Kansas City's been struggling. I know they won the other day, but they've been struggling.
They're not even listing Seattle. Oh, yeah, they are. They're 5 games back. That ain't happening.
What are they in the division? 4.5?
But in division with Houston, they're 4.5, and Houston's struggling.
And Verlander's not pitched well for them. This isn't Verlander from 2012 anymore. This is old man Verlander now.
And you know what? And I know we're going to talk, like, I don't know if you want to talk about it, but we have some matchups here. People want to play the matchups because especially in the Central, we have some matchups. And in the matchups, the Twins and the Royals going after it. And right now, the Twins and the Royals. Twins now have a half-game lead over the Royals for the last wild card. But here's the deal. These things only matter if you sweep the team you're playing. It's better, like what we just had for Astros and Seattle. If you can have another team sweep the team you're playing, right?
Yeah.
Right. And you can, because what happens is when you play these head-to-head matchups, a lot of times like when the A's had to sweep going back to 2012, the A's had to sweep the Rangers 4 straight.
Yeah.
Which is so rare. It happened. It was magical, right? It's magic. Usually when you play 3 games, somebody takes 2 out of 3 and that's not that much movement. It's easier when you're playing against somebody else and the team you're chasing is playing against somebody else. Because remember, it was also the Rangers tanking all those games against other teams that led to being 4 back and the A's sweeping them on that day. So we got some good matchups. I mean, Twins and Royals, but if you take 2 out of 3, there's not a whole lot of movement there.
The Royals have been, I mean, after being if they would have swept Cleveland, they would have been in first place. They went on like a long 7-game losing streak. And then Seth Lugo had to be the stopper for them. That's what they paid him for. And now they're trailing the Twins. And the Twins weren't playing well for a while either. Remember early in the year, they're the streakiest team in baseball. They were winning a bunch and they were losing a bunch. Yeah. And then they finally took off. And then, Correa's hurt still. Royce Lewis is back, but he's not homering as much. He's human. He's not homering all the time. I don't know. I think I still like Kansas City to come out of there and for one of the wild cards.
They had them. They're all going to be in. Kansas City and
the
Minnesota.
Twins, yeah.
The next closest teams are 5 back.
Oh, that's right, because Boston fell apart. That's right.
So Jerry DiPoto got canned by the Angels, then got hired, I want to say, 2015.
I think that's right.
Is it 15 or 14, DiPoto? 15. Running the Mariners. I think it's 2015. Here we are in 2024. He was GM, then got promoted to president of baseball operations. If the Mariners don't make the playoffs, he's been to the playoffs 1 time running that franchise.
Once.
One time.
No, I get it. Everyone's going to, well, he's had winning seasons. That's great, but they didn't make the postseason.
1 time. Should he, or does this go to what I talk about, hedge fund baseball? Yes, he's won some. They're making money. The organization is always going up in value. Owners are fine with that. Hedge fund baseball. If you're not playing hedge fund baseball, you're like, this dude's been running this franchise for how many years? He's made the playoffs 1 time. And remember, they had a 10-game lead. They had a double. It's not like he's played the little engine that could. They had a 10-game. They squandered a 10-game lead.
And it was all quickly because Houston got so hot, and then they don't have any offense. And I know they scored some runs the last 2 games of the series here, but their offense, they're strikeout prone. They have a low batting average, and Dipoto hasn't been able to develop any position players. They developed a lot of good starting pitching, which is great, but they have where's the position players that come? Cal Raleigh and Julio Rodriguez is really the only guys they have that they developed. The rest of the guys are journeymen.
When's Jacob Wilson coming?
I keep checking for text messages. I haven't got anything yet.
Okay. Jacob Wilson is going to be here in moments. Let's do a quick little break. Just coming up, the news about the A's here in the second half, and also from the All-Star break, and Lawrence Butler and Brent Rooker. I mean, it's amazing, these numbers. These numbers are amazing. Not as amazing as the Treehouse. Do we have bingo going yet? It is what? You know I don't speak Spanish. It's Mexican bingo. What? What? Un momento. Come here. Come on, Isabel. Come here. Come put the headset on. Tell everybody what's going on. Put the headset on. There you go. There you go. There you go. This is one of the great employees for the Athletics. You see her on the field telling everybody what to do. You sing the anthem. You throw out the first pitch. You go here. You go there. Players, get your big butts off the field. You control everything that happens in the game.
I do, and I love it. I love every part of it. It's super fun. All the prompts that you see on the video board. Got a great team doing all that good stuff. It's awesome.
You're welcome that I carried you and your Hall of Fame ceremony that day. You are welcome.
Literally couldn't have done it without you, Towny.
You're welcome that I stepped up because, they needed to get out of the pen. You want to talk about nobody out of the pen. It was hot. I was in a suit, and I still performed.
You did.
I want that to be – that might be one of the last times I've ever been nervous because I haven't been nervous in a long time. Well, when you do TV all the time and radio all the time, you just kind of – you need to get nervous. I told my kids that. If you're nervous, it means something. I was nervous as hell because you got to read.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm talking to that. You got to read, not mess it up.
It's a lot of eyes on you, too. A big old crowd for a Hall of Fame ceremony, and it's on TV. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal.
The bigger the spotlight, I'm all in.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Too far.
What do we got?
All right. So today in the Treehouse, we're playing Loteria, but this is like A's themed Loteria. This is what's a little bit different, right? So we have some new spots that include nachos and a helmet and Esteri Ruiz and Bark at the Ballpark. Those are like A's themed, right? And then Mexican bingo. It's kind of like regular bingo. You're going across, full thing. You're welcome. And yeah, so by the way, on top of that, we play with beans. So like raw, uncooked beans.
Okay.
And that's how you mark your spots, as opposed to like, using markers or how we do it, chips or whatever. So that's kind of like the difference.
Mexican bingo is pronounced again?
Loteria.
There you go. It's happening right now at the Treehouse. Coming up next, Jacob Wilson will join us in the Treehouse right here on A's Cast Live.
Calling all trading card collectors. Mark your calendars for Saturday, September 14th, because Topps Hobby Rip Night is back and bigger than ever. Head to your local hobby shop to open packs, trade cards, and connect with fellow collectors. With over 500 shops participating and some surprise appearances from athletes and celebrities, this is a night that you don't want to miss. Join the fun. Find your nearest shop at Topps.com/Rip Night. That's Topps.com/Rip Night. And be a part of the excitement on September 14th.
This is Commander Cody, and fall is upon us, and Linksole has dropped their new fall line. New pants fit for a more custom experience with elevated layers and performance polos to help transition from season to season, no matter if you're wearing them out on the golf course, out to dinner, or just hanging out with friends. Some effortless looks to help you find the right look and feel for any occasion. Go to their website, linksole.com. That's linksole.com, and find out how you can unlock 20% off your next order. Remember, in the big leagues, to play good, you got to look good.
Where does one community end and the next begin? Across the railroad tracks? On the other side of the river? Is it between the east side and the west side? At Comerica Bank, we believe it's all one community, and we're all part of it. That's why Comerica has invested over $20 million for affordable housing, financial education, and workforce development in lower-income communities. Because when we raise expectations for everyone, we all rise. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Hi, fans. This season, Kingsford Capital Management is the official hedge fund sponsor of the Oakland A's. At Kingsford, down to business is their way of seeing the world. Investing has its pitfalls, treacherous chasms of half-truth and despair. Kingsford's mission is to create opportunity through application of proven innovation and entrepreneurial focus with trust, tenacity, loyalty, and growth, establishing a strong reputation as a proven intended and validated bedrock of American finance. Kingsford Capital, down to business.
If you haven't been to the Chicken Pie Shop in Walnut Creek, what are you waiting for? You're going to love the new menu, and it's a great place to watch all the pennant race action and the upcoming NFL and college football seasons. Come taste their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next corporate party or birthday celebration. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
Hey, Oakland A's fans, step up to the plate with Xfinity Internet. Get the fastest speeds and low-lag streaming for an incredible viewing experience that knocks it out of the park. And you'll have a consistent connection with reduced buffering and freezing, so you can stay in all the action inning after inning. When it's game time, make sure to catch it all with internet that's powerful and reliable. Stream sports from the best seat in the house with Xfinity, because it's only live once. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed. Many factors affect speed. For factors affecting speed, visit xfinity.com/network management.
This is the place where you can dance like nobody's watching, win like nobody's business, and get away like you mean it. So what are you waiting for? Come join the party. Take that evening out and make it a night you'll never forget. This kind of action can't be beat.
With more sunshine returning, it's time to get outside and make the most of what Cinnabar Hills Golf Club has to offer. Like 27 championship caliber holes tucked in the beautiful hills of San Jose. And take advantage of their amazing Bay Area views for your next special event. It's all for you at Cinnabar Hills Golf Club, an award-winning venue designed to peacefully take you away from the bustle of Silicon Valley. Go to cinnabarhills.com. That's cinnabarhills.com.
Being a Chevron car these days has been quite the adventure. Miami to Seattle, ocean to ocean. I've stopped at so many states and collected so many bumper stickers. Sometimes I feel like a moving passport book. It's just so great what I can do with Chevron with Techron, because it gives me unbeatable mileage and keeps my engine clean. Plus, there are so many Chevrons along the way. Now the only thing I'm worried about is where to go next and where to put all my new bumper stickers. Chevron with Techron, fueled by possibility.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
And the underdog Oakland Athletics win their first championship since they were in Philadelphia in 1930.
Hi, I'm Raleigh Fingers, Hall of Famer, 3-time World Series champion with the Oakland A's and World Series MVP. Winning takes teamwork, skill, and heart. So when you need an ace for a personal injury lawyer that will win you the game, go with the winning team. Call Venardi Zerata at 833-VZ-FOR-ME or go to vzlawfirm.com. Venardi Zerata, the official injury law firm of the Oakland A's.
Like sports, business is about winning. Championship decisions are business decisions based on what it takes to help your company win. And that's why there's UBO Business Services, specializing in helping you win every day by streamlining workflows, managing documents, and providing the best-in-class office technology. Make your championship decision with UBO Business Services. Visit them at ubeo.com. That's ubeo.com.
Unlock offers and receive exclusive in-game features by downloading the MLB Ballpark app for iPhone and Android today. Plus, get the latest information on game times, schedules, and more.
A's Cast Live continues from Rickey Henderson Field. Here's Chris Townsend.
What was the year we were in San Diego at the winter meetings heckling A.J. Hinch?
That was 19.
That was 2019. That was pre-pandemic.
No. Sorry.
Yeah,
it was after. No, it was after, because the cheating scandal came out during 2020. I thought, because remember Dusty took over, so it was after that. So we didn't know about the cheating scandal.
So there was no win. So it would have been 22.
Yeah, because he would have been with Detroit then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it was when he was with Detroit.
So we're in downtown San Diego in the gas lamp, and we're walking behind A.J. Hinch, now manager of the Tigers at this point, and we bang trash cans as we're walking behind him. He didn't get the joke.
Yeah, he didn't. I think we ended up texting Melvin about it.
Robert Melvin, we texted about it. He thought it was funny. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I mean,
and then if he would have been mad, I would have said too soon. I said, well, if you're mad about that, do you remember me striking your ass out in 1995? And I beat Stanford when they were number 2 in the country? You remember that, A.J. Hinch? Think he remembers that?
No.
You don't think he remembers that? I struck him out with the bases loaded, too. Blew it right by him. Yeah, I don't think he probably remembers that or cares. But, yeah, I got to give a lot of credit to A.J. Hinch. I can't believe I'm doing this. Even though he kind of fessed up to the cheating scandal, but it was out of his hands, which is garbage. You have to give him a lot of credit. Tigers are in rebuild, and they're 71-70.
Well, this is the year they were supposed to take that leap, that step forward.
This is still the building process.
With Torkelson and Riley Green, Parker Meadows. The pitching staff was Skubal and Mize, who was coming back from Tommy John. The guys they had.
They were not a complete 26-man roster or 40-man roster.
No, but they were expected. There was expectations to get better.
They're only 500. This is impressive.
Now because they were bad to start the year.
They were not good. They're 500 right now. This is impressive. It really is. Like, it kind of shows. Like, they don't have a monster payroll. They don't have really any payroll.
Oh yeah, Cabrera's gone now.
Yeah,
so.
They don't have a payroll. They finally got rid of his old you-know-what. And it just goes to show how fast you can turn things around in baseball.
Yeah, their GM's Scott Harris, the former Giants GM under Farhan.
I remember when he did the press conference, and everybody's kind of like, "Who is this guy?" He was in San Francisco for a year, and he talked about changing a lot of different things. I just got a text from a buddy of mine who says teams around the league talk about changing things around. Our guy Bob Nightingale is reporting that scouts by the Cubs and scouts for the Red Sox have just been dismissed. That's as of today. Cubs have dismissed 4 scouts, and the Red Sox have dismissed 3 veteran scouts.
I believe the White Sox just recently got rid of some guys too.
Yeah. So in a time when the game continues to evolve, the game continues to change, we had no idea how long was it going to be for them to actually be competitive. The Detroit Tigers are competitive, and they're just a game. But one of the reasons why I want to bring that up is when you look at the A's since the All-Star break, they're 24-19. But even a longer span, the A's are 31-24 since July 1st. That's a long sample size. That's the 8th best record in Major League Baseball. But that 31-24 record since July 1st, that's the 3rd best record in the American League. And the 2 teams ahead of them, we know the Houston Astros were definitely hot, but the other team is the Detroit Tigers. Detroit and Houston are 33-24, while the A's are 31-24. Unbelievable when you think about this turnaround for the A's. If Jacob Wilson, are we going to get him, or are we going to It's 5 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. What do we want to do? We got the GM and we got the.
Yeah, we could probably play. I haven't heard anything. Sorry, our iPad's dying, so I'm trying to get it to charge. I haven't gotten anything from what's going on. So
All right, I want to get these in for the fans.
yeah, David Forst is like 12 minutes, so we should be able to get it in. Hopefully, we can do it if we do it right now.
All right, so this was really good. A lot to talk about with David Forst, the general manager. Got to get into the pitching. Got to get into Lawrence Butler. Got to get into Brent Rooker. The general manager show right here on A's Cast Live. Now for the general manager show right here on A's Cast with David Forst. How are you?
I'm great. Chris, how are you?
I'm ever since July 1st and really since the All-Star break, I'm a lot better. How about you?
Yeah, I think that checks out. Obviously, a couple losses the last 2 nights against the Mariners after 2 exciting wins to start the series. But no, the big picture, guys are playing great.
What is the big thing for you when you look at progress with your team? Obviously, record's the easy thing, but what do you want to see?
Well, what we've seen more of the last 2 months is finding a way to win. I mean, I think that has been the thing that we haven't been able to point to the last year and a half. When we've had these, like, we talk about sort of silver linings and taking positives away from individual performances, pitching, position players developing at the plate. What we haven't done as a group is found ways to win. And that's starting to change. And that's really good for the guys in the clubhouse. It's good for Mark and his staff to see. But it's apparent in the record. I mean, I don't want to downplay the individual performances of guys like Law and Rook and the way JP's pitching and things like that. But as a group, we're staying in games. I think Mark mentioned the other night, when we were down to the Mariners, it didn't feel in the dugout like the game was over. Like there's a sense now that if we're in a game, we have a chance to win.
I know people probably get tired of me talking about this, especially on the post-game show. And in a world in sports now where we talk so much about mental health, players, we forget the coaches, like how much these guys put into this, and they have, in the end, no control over the pitchers, the hitters. They had what happens on the field, but they pour their lives into trying to make these young men better players. And when you lose and you have tough seasons, especially last year, we never really talk about the mental health of the coaches. And that's the group that I'm happy for the players. But to me, our coaching staff, knowing how much and how hard they have worked, I'm so happy for them. The results really kind of helps with all the work they've put in.
Without a doubt. And just being away from home, like those guys, coaching staff, training staff, strength staff, clubhouse, some of the clubhouse staff, all these people are away from their families during the season. And you're right. I think we do talk about a lot, but you can't say it enough, how much time they put in and how nice it is for them to get the results at the end of the night.
And then for you guys, knowing that, you're helping them with data and you're helping them trying to implement to the players, just to see it start to work. What does that do for your staff, the front office?
I think it's a nice motivator for our guys. I should say guys and girls. Obviously, the front office staff has put in a lot of work over the last few years, and it can be demoralizing when you go a certain amount of time without a win. And, it's nice that we have something to show for the work we've put in over the last 12 months.
Lawrence Butler, it's just been incredible. Mitch Spence is like, it's like playing with Barry Bonds. I mean, but it's like we've seen the low, and now we've seen this crazy high. My question then, what's the baseline?
Right.
What's when he grows into being an everyday player, he's in his prime, what is Lawrence Butler?
Yeah, I mean, this has been a real journey for Lawrence since he got called up last year in Washington. We're talking about a little over 13 months now, I think, from when he first got to the big leagues. And he did get sent down and had to come back, and he's struggled here. I know Mark spent a lot of time with him earlier in the year on a road trip where he was, frankly, pretty close to getting sent down again, and had to make some adjustments. But, yeah, we've seen what it looks like when Law gets hot, and it's – outside of Rook, it's as good as anybody on this club right now, anybody we've had here for a while. So you hope that he settles in because you don't want the highs and lows. You want that consistency. You want guys to sort of know what they can do every night, but it's been fun to watch.
Yeah, Brent Rooker, to me, is a great example of a guy figuring it out, but also what happens when you stop striking out as much. He has double the infield hits. which helps the batting average, right? It's like all these things that you see, and the power is great at 35. This is going to run all week long or for 2 weeks, and hopefully he gets to 40. But it's been a lot of fun just to watch him grow and to hear Mark Kotsay say, last year I was telling him he's the 26th man on the roster to where he's now having a career year. I don't know if he'll have a better year in his career. That's how good this year is. Just talk about what you've seen beyond the power, because when you start talking about, his recent hitting streak, he's hitting over 400.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned cutting down strikeouts, which is so hard to do in today's game when strikeouts are higher than they've ever been in the history of the game. So for Brent Rooker in 2024 to make that kind of adjustment, cut down on swings and misses, cut down on strikeouts, and you see the increase in average, and he doesn't lose any power to go along with it. I mean, that's a really impressive adjustment. And I think it was either Vinny or Chris mentioned on the air the other day that, him missing the All-Star game every day that goes by becomes more of a crime that Brent wasn't there for a second year in a row.
And I think people forget that, with the arm issue that he is having, that whatever will be done in the offseason to fix it, we talk so much about the outfield next year, because I'll ask you about J.J. Bleday. It's been a phenomenal year. I love me some J.J. Bleday, but Rooker will be back playing some outfield next year.
Yeah, we've always felt like, the lineup, the roster is a lot easier to manage when you don't have that sort of set DH, when you can move guys in and out of that spot, give guys a day off their feet. Obviously, we've made room for Rook in that spot because of the season he's having, but Kotz is definitely looking forward to getting back in the outfield, so he does have a little more flexibility. It'd be nice, Shea's been back behind the plate so much. There's a guy who could benefit from some DH days.
Yeah.
We just don't have that luxury right now.
And sometimes getting McCann's bat, the left-handed bat in there.
That's another way to get a lefty in the lineup when McCann could get there, but right now, I'll let Rook have every one of those at-bats the rest of the way.
I have noticed, and this is not a comp Jed Lowry to J.J. Bleday, but there is something about guys who know how to hunt doubles. And Jed Lowry, I mean, you and I might be able to beat him in a 40-yard dash, but that guy hunted a double. As soon as the ball left the bat, he was, JJ, I've noticed that with JJ. Just talk about the all-around game, because you know what a tremendous talent he is, but now you throw in all these extra base hits, the power, and he's gotten better defensively in center.
For sure. And a year ago, we were sitting here just saying, God, we hope JJ gets back on the field. We got to keep him healthy. He did get back for a few games towards the end of the season last year, but now he's stayed healthy all year. He has made similar adjustments to what we talked about with Rook. The power is there, 20-plus homers. Is he 30-plus doubles now?
Oh, he's almost 40.
He's almost 40 doubles. So, all while playing in the center of the diamond. And again, you and I have talked about playing center field for Kotz is not easy to do because he's got some ideas about how the position can be played. And he's been very complimentary of the adjustments JJ's made out there, both coming in and going back on the ball. And it's nice to have him penciled in the lineup every day.
And I'm going to be bullish on this because watching him play, when I look at size, speed, combination, I still think Zach Geloff is as good as anybody you have.
Yeah.
How do you get it going?
I mean, the thing about Zach is, like, you still see when he puts the barrel on the ball, it jumps almost like nobody else in our lineup. I mean, he'll put up a 108 or 109 exit velo with what looks like barely swinging. So obviously his issue this year has been contact. And I know Bushy and Kotz have spent a lot of time with Zach talking about his approach to the zone, his hand position, all these things that the league adjusted to him. They're busting him up at the top of the zone with fastballs. They're making him chase sliders. Now he's got to turn around and adjust to them. But the reason he's still here, the reason you see double-digit homers is because when he does put the barrel on it, it really jumps.
He did play through injury, and guys that do that can get a little out of whack.
Yeah.
Would I'm not going to make excuses for
right,
him, but
and I don't think Zach would either. But you can't forget about that. I mean, it's a part of every one of these guys. I mean, again, Rook's playing with this thing in his elbow that's going to be have to fix after the season. All these guys, when you get to September, have something. But Zach missed time earlier in the year, and you shouldn't discount that when it comes to like looking at his whole season.
And Andujar, like that was a guy that, I mean, it's like if this guy could ever stay, well, if he ever could stay healthy, he wouldn't be here. But you think about what he did in the spring. He didn't strike out, and then that's the knee, and then he played the last half of his season hurt, obviously done for the year. I mean, it's a core thing. So
Yeah.
get him healthy. What do you expect from him? If he can have a full spring, get in knock on whatever.
A lot of ifs there with Miggy, but we knew for a while he was playing when, we didn't know exactly what the diagnosis was till we did the MRI, but he had this abdomen issue that was probably robbing him of his power. What he still found a way to do was get his hits. I mean, he kept his average up near 300. He'd get 2 or 3 hits a night at times and put up a professional at bat. And you really see since he came out of the lineup, it shortens things up a little bit. I mean, you get to that 5-6 spot instead of that 6-7 spot. It makes a difference in how many guys you have reliable at bats in the lineup. So, we'll get that taken care of. Hopefully, it's not a long rehab, and he's got most of the offseason to really get healthy for next year.
And we saw online Soderstrom.
Yeah.
Got a home run. I guess the wrist is doing better. Is there any chance we see him again?
Yeah, I think there is.
Okay.
So he went out and DH last night. Like everybody, he's got a playing progression that takes him through the next 8 to 10 days. We'll see how he responds to, swinging and then being in the field playing first base. But I think there's a good chance we see Tyler before the end of the year.
How's Kurtz? I can't ask about him coming up now because obviously I believe he's on the IL.
He is. So. Yeah, it was a pretty good hamstring strain from stretching that night in Midland. So he's rehabbing down in Arizona. We're hoping to get him out for some instructional league at bats before the end of the month. And then the fall league actually is always a possibility for guys like that. So maybe we make up some of those missed ABs with the fall league.
I want you to remind me next year in Mesa at spring training something, because I ask you all the time. We talk about pitching. Right now, where we are on September 6th, Cody, how many pitchers?
What up? It's 822, I think.
I think we're at 822 pitchers used in Major League Baseball. I'm never going to ask you about who's your starting staff and your bullpen, because it's kind of ridiculous. We're at a point where there's no way you can tell me, hey, opening day and what you think you're going to look like in July, what you look like in September. It's crazy.
We didn't in Mesa this past March. We didn't have Beto being one of the best pitchers in the big leagues in August. So it's kind of foolish to try and guess.
Like, how would you know? Like, Mitch Spence was a Rule 5 guy. You're like hoping and starting the boat, and now you need him.
I told Cody in December last year Mitch Spence was going to be my guy, so he's done a great job.
Right? Isn't it crazy to think about how to build a pitching staff today when you have this many people being used to make? Because it's crazy.
Depth on top of depth on top of depth.
Can you have enough starters?
No, absolutely not. I mean, Vegas is completely out of starters. We've taken all their guys. They're running out bullpen games. They're running out, Austin Pruitt's back now pitching multiple innings there. So, yeah, it's tough, and the domino effect is real. Luckily, Midland, who clinched a playoff spot last night, has enough to put a playoff rotation together, and we're hoping to keep them there. But it's hard. It's hard on everybody.
Well, good stuff.
Thanks, man.
We'll talk to you before the end of the season.
Okay.
Finish up strong.
Sounds good.
The David Forst Show right here on A's Cast. Always great to have the general manager on, David Forst. Jacob Wilson has now joined us here in the Treehouse. Where have you been? I've been looking for you. What, you're over there playing bingo?
I know, yeah. I was reading off some bingo cards in Spanish.
How
Working
was
on my
it?
Spanish. I was working on it. I don't know if it sounded too good, but I was working on it.
Did you do Spanish at Grand Canyon?
Not too much.
Not
too much Spanish at Grand Canyon. Maybe a couple classes in high school, but I thought I was getting them pretty good.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
It's great to see you. As we told you, you're going to be here.
Mm-hmm.
We realized we haven't been able to. You haven't been on the show since Midland.
I have not. No, you're right. When we FaceTime or we Zoom called in.
Right. So the running joke was I told him in spring training to look around, size everybody up. You're going to be here, and now you're here. So just what has the experience been like?
No, it's been amazing. This is a dream come true for sure. Be able to be here, be able to play at the Coliseum, and just being able to be on this team and just meet all the guys, be able to play with them, share the same field, and just this coaching staff has been, so amazing to be a part of. So it's just been a great, experience so far. I'm really just enjoying it, and looking forward to finishing out the season and see where it goes.
It was so tough in that first game, right? You get the hit, you get hurt, and you were on such a heater leading into that. Was that kind of tough? After you get hurt, you got to go down and kind of find it again and find that rhythm and speed.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think going into the All-Star break, everything was, going in the right direction for me. Everything was going great. We were winning down there in Vegas, and it was awesome. Then really get called up, come up here, get a win in my first game, and then obviously get the first hit. And then unfortunately we had the injury, and just to be able to start the process all over again, it's definitely tough to take 4 weeks off, seeing a pitch, and then going down there, did my rehab assignment. Now, getting up here, just trying to, kind of speed the ball up a little bit, trying to get back into the flow of things. But like I said, it's been amazing. Really just enjoying it and just enjoying the game.
What has it been like from a standpoint of, this is different when you're up here? Is there anything that defense, offense, what's different once you get here and you start playing more on a regular basis?
Yeah, I think just overall the game is just, faster. The guys are faster. You got elite arms on the mound that you're facing every day. The hitters are everybody's just better. This is the top of the top, the top league that you can play at, and just be able to get here and just really just start to adapt your game to be able to play at this level every day. That's kind of my goal right now, is just go out there, do whatever I can to help this team win. It's offensively or defensively, just going out there and just being a part of this team. So I think that for me, it's just really being able to adapt to how fast this game is, and just being able to, keep up with these pitchers and the hitters that are, they're all elite. So it's pretty awesome to be a part of this field.
And I think about how once people get to know you, you start looking out and they start defending you a little different, don't they?
Yeah.
Have you seen that so far? How the changes?
Yeah, I think obviously you come up, you're the rookie, you're the new guy that's trying to learn everything. So, pitchers are trying to take that in their advantage, that you're the new guy, you haven't seen this type of stuff yet, this type of electricity. So, like I said, for me, I'm just trying to go up there and just battle these guys, put up good at bats, and just trying to, do whatever I can to have good at bats, get on base, and like with me in my situation, I got Lawrence Butler and Rooker and Vilday and Langoliers behind me. So my job is if I get on base, with those guys behind me, we could probably put up a run. So that's just my job as it is right now.
I don't know what Lawrence Butler's eating. I don't know how much he's sleeping. I don't know what the heck he's doing. But whatever he's doing, everybody should be doing it, because, my God, he's like out of his mind right now.
No, yeah, he's unbelievable right now. You go up there, when you're watching as a bat, and it's just like, all right, this guy is on every pitch. He's hitting everything hard right now. He's it's working all full cylinders for him right now. So it's pretty awesome to watch and just be a part of what he does before the game, how he prepares himself and how he goes out there and, he accomplishes his goal every day, is to go up there and have a great at bat. So it's pretty awesome to, see that firsthand.
We haven't been able to ask you this, but when you first came up, I got to see a little bit, because I was on vacation when you first came up. And then, I got to see when you come back and the family, the whole experience. I know you've talked about it, but let's just go over it again. Just mom, dad, the whole thing. Just how cool is that?
Oh, it's amazing. With your parents, your siblings, like those are people you have your entire life. They help you every single day, try to achieve this goal, and, to be able, get here to this level, and that you've had their support this entire time. And just even to this day, they still call me after every game, text me after every game. They watch everything. So it's just to be able to have such a great support group that I have back home. I'm just super blessed to have that. And the debut, they all showed up. They all got here.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of family and friends here. So it was just overall a special day, unfortunately, with the injury, but still with that happening, it was just still an awesome day to be able to have my support group here.
Was it crazy for them how fast it happened for you to get called up?
I think for sure it was definitely a little surprise for them.
Yeah.
Obviously, my dad went and he played in the minor leagues. He got drafted and he spent a couple of years in the minor leagues, and then for him to experience me getting here in the first full season that I've had, he was definitely surprised for sure. But it was definitely part of the plan. Try to get here as fast as possible. Go up there and just continue to get better every day with having him, being able to call him, being able to go to my mom and my sisters with anything I need to talk about with life. And it's been awesome just to have them and just being able to call them every day and have them help me each and every day. So it's been super cool.
What's the number one thing that you're really working on right now? Now that you're healthy, now you're starting to play every single day, what's the number one thing you're working on?
Just go out there, like I said, it's the final month of the season. We're pushing, win as many games as we possibly can. So my goal is just go out there and just really just play my style of the game, keep up with these guys and go up there and just really do whatever I can, like I said, to help this team win. My main focus as a player is to go out there and do whatever I can to win baseball games. So like I said, go out there, really focus in, really, take the game, breathe through it, slow the game down, just being able to go out there, step in the box, go play short or wherever they need me to play, and just go, be a team player. Go up there and just really want to win games. This is kind of my mentality right now.
And it's not lip service, because you guys are winning games. You have one of the best records since July 1st, one of the best records since the All-Star break. You can tell things have changed inside this clubhouse.
Oh, yeah. These guys are fully bought in right now to winning baseball games, doing whatever they can before, during, after the game to really prepare themselves for the next day to go out there and just, continue to win. We have great, Kots gives great meetings before every series, and it kind of motivates us to go out there and just really just have fun. We're going out there, we're having a blast. You can see Lawrence Butler has a smile on his face every time he gets on base, and it's 4 times the game. It's unbelievable. But you can just see these guys are going out there and they're just playing, just having fun with the game. And I think that with this team, when we have fun playing this game, is when we're going to win a lot of games. So I'm really proud to be a part of this squad, and it's just words can't describe how it is to be able to go out there and be a part of this team.
Yeah, he only got a hit yesterday. I'm like, what's wrong? Is he okay? He only got a hit. Let's end on this. Has there been a time, maybe when you're out on the field, maybe when you're in the clubhouse, on the plane, on the bus, whatever, and you start looking around all the guys and you go, you know what? Next year we're going to be tough. This is going to be a tough you look at Detroit, they've turned it around pretty quick. You can turn it around quick. Do you look around and go, look out, next year is going to be a different story?
Yeah, I think for sure that next year is going to be, a phenomenal story for this squad. We have a bunch of young guys. We have a good young group, along with a couple, older guys who are leading this clubhouse, a couple veteran guys who, are taking their young guys and really just trying to go out there and win games. So I think that, with the guys we have coming up in the minor league system, and then guys that we have here already, I think next year is just we're gonna be a really good squad. I think it's really exciting to see what this future holds for this team. I think we're gonna be in a great spot. I think we're gonna win a lot of games next year, and I'm just really focused on finishing this year out strong, and then going into next year, just getting better over the offseason to come back and help this great squad win.
I'll never forget it. Camelback Ranch over there playing against the Dodgers. You're playing shortstop, and I was doing the color on the broadcast. And after is when we got you on A's Cast, and I'm like, I'm watching this kid. He looks like the rest of the guy. And that's what I was telling you. Eye these guys up, because this is your job. It is we told you.
You
did. This was going to be your job.
Told me, yeah.
And you know what? Going to this offseason, this is your job.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
exactly.
It's great to have you.
Thank you for having me.
And we're going to be doing this for like a long, long time. So you just got to get ready. A's Cast Live will be a big part of your future.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Finish strong.
Thank you so much.
We got more coming up. We got the Mark Kotsay Show next. We got the Mark Kotsay Show next right here on A's Cast Live.
Step up to the plate with Xfinity Internet. Get the fastest speeds and low lag streaming for an incredible viewing experience that knocks it out of the park. And you'll have a consistent connection with reduced buffering and freezing, so you can stay in all the action inning after inning. When it's game time, make sure to catch it all with internet that's powerful and reliable. Stream sports from the best seat in the house with Xfinity, because it's only live once. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed. Many factors affect speed. For factors affecting speed, visit xfinity.com/network management.
Calling all trading card collectors. Mark your calendars for Saturday, September 14th, because Topps Hobby Rip Night is back and bigger than ever. Head to your local hobby shop to open packs, trade cards, and connect with fellow collectors. With over 500 shops participating and some surprise appearances from athletes and celebrities, this is a night that you don't want to miss. Join the fun. Find your nearest shop at Topps.com/Rip Night. That's Topps.com/Rip Night, and be a part of the excitement on September 14th.
Where does one community end and the next begin? Across the railroad tracks? On the other side of the river? Is it between the east side and the west side? At Comerica Bank, we believe it's all one community, and we're all part of it. That's why Comerica has invested over $20 million for affordable housing, financial education, and workforce development in lower-income communities. Because when we raise expectations for everyone, we all rise. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
This is the place where you can dance like nobody's watching, win like nobody's business, and get away like you mean it. So what are you waiting for? Come join the party. Take that evening out and make it a night you'll never forget. This kind of action can't be beat.
This is Chris Townsend, and it is summertime. You want to look your best, and I can't tell you how excited I am. Commander Cody, we've got our new shipment from Link Soul, all the summer gear. So whether you're playing golf or you're going out for dinner, you're hanging out with your buddies, or you're going to the beach, go see our friends at linksoul.com. And right now they have an offer where you can get 20% off. Go to linksoul.com. Remember, in the big leagues, look good, play good.
Hi, fans. This season, Kingsford Capital Management is the official hedge fund sponsor of the Oakland A's. At Kingsford, down to business is their way of seeing the world. Investing has its pitfalls, treacherous chasms of half-truth and despair. Kingsford's mission is to create opportunity through application of proven innovation and entrepreneurial focus with trust, tenacity, loyalty, and growth, establishing a strong reputation as a proven intended and validated bedrock of American finance. Kingsford Capital, down to business.
With the sunshine returning, it's time for golf, and more golf at Cinnabar Hills Golf Club. Cinnabar Hills is also your destination for great food with their beautiful renovated restaurant and quality craft beer selection at their full bar. Featuring a grass driving range and 27 championship caliber holes, Cinnabar Hills Golf Club is the best public course in the Bay Area. For more information, go to cinnabarhills.com. That's cinnabarhills.com.
Ever wondered what a 30-foot tall pistachio looks like? A giant redwood or Big Sur? Chevron with Techron will be there to help you see them and tons of other places you have to see to believe. Because with unbeatable mileage and a clean engine, cars feel great. So next time you want to fill up on a little adventure, an awkward family photo, or a new commute to work, make sure to fill up at Chevron's along the way. Your car and your memories will thank you. Chevron with Techron, fueled by possibility.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland, and you'll get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding. Love where you sleep.
If you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see our friends at the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
And the underdogs Oakland Athletics win their first championship since they were in Philadelphia in 1930.
Hi, I'm Raleigh Fingers, Hall of Famer, 3-time World Series champion with the Oakland A's and World Series MVP. Winning takes teamwork, skill, and heart. So when you need an ace for a personal injury lawyer that will win you the game, go with the winning team. Call Venardi Zerata at 833-VZ for me or go to vzlawfirm.com. Venardi Serrata, the official injury law firm of the Oakland A's.
Like sports, business is about winning. Championship decisions are business decisions based on what it takes to help your company win. And that's why there's UBO Business Services, specializing in helping you win every day by streamlining workflows, managing documents, and providing the best-in-class office technology. Make your championship decision with UBO Business Services. Visit them at ubeo.com. That's ubeo.com.
The A's YouTube page is your go-to destination for A's video content. Get access to great highlights, exclusive behind-the-scenes content, classic games, A's Cast Live, and more. Visit youtube.com/athletics.
You're listening to A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
All right, you want to hold it up one more time. Happy hour here in the Treehouse. We're playing. You want to try and pronounce it?
Isn't it Loteria?
Is it Loteria? We got drink specials, the Freedom Lemonade, Blue Moon Draft, Hop Valley Citrus Mistress, all going on right here at the Treehouse. We got gifts. We got prizes. It's packed right now.
There's a lot of people here.
There's a lot of people here.
Wait
I do have to say this. I have no affiliation or anything with the Detroit Tigers, right? No family in that area, nothing. My grandfather didn't play for him, nothing, right? I have always loved the Tigers gear. And when I went to Tiger Stadium with the A's, the stadium's awesome. There's Tigers everywhere, but they do probably the best job of celebrating their history, which is a long and illustrious history. their ballpark is awesome. Detroit, not so much. But the ballpark and their uniforms, the cursive D, the white uni, the road unis. Detroit's got a pretty sweet look.
Yeah, I mean, I have to kind of pay attention to them because my wife's entire family's from Detroit, and they're big Tiger fans. So her grandfather calls me all the time and talk about the Dodgers, but also the Tigers. And I'm like, Dave, I'm sorry, I'm not grinding every Detroit game, but I believe. I mean, if you're gonna tell me how great Tiger School is, I mean, I believe you. So, they're having a great renaissance right now, and the city of Detroit is besides the Pistons.
Because what's his name who owns the Cavaliers?
Dan Gilbert.
Dan Gilbert is done an unbelievable job with his company rejuvenating the city of Detroit. I have a buddy that lives, the great Dave Jennings, who I played baseball with at San Jose State, longtime roommate, our catcher. He lives just outside in Birmingham, Michigan, and he sends me stuff all the time. Dan Gilbert, as he's trying to rejuvenate Cleveland, once again, it's not the politicians, it's the private sector that's having to do it. Oakland, hey, Oakland, and that's what you're hoping with AASEG.
Yeah.
It's the private sector. I mean, Dan Gilbert is doing that in Detroit. There's all kinds of you can go online and read all about it. Dan Gilbert, owner of the Cavaliers, has been doing a great job trying to rejuvenate downtown Detroit, and they're talking about how it's pumping again. There's more life to it. A ton of stuff has been built, places to live, restaurants, that whole thing, and that Detroit is slowly but surely becoming a much better place because downtown Detroit has been pretty rough for a long time.
Yeah, and you got the Red Wings are on their way back up, which that was like the staple in Detroit was the Red Wings and Joe Louis Arena, and they were good every year. And then you got the Lions winning now, which is unheard of. But the Lions are good. Dan Campbell, Jared Goff, they're doing a nice job. And then here come the Tigers. They're a little lull, and here they come again. So I guess, good for the city of Detroit. It's been pretty bad the last, 10 plus years. I mean,
it's been rough in Detroit for many years, right?
I'm just basing off of revisionist history for myself.
Well, you're just talking about from the sports standpoint.
Yeah.
But what Detroit meant in our country.
Well, GM and everything, Ford,
the car industry, and when that kind of changed and all the jobs and all these different cities in Michigan that were all affiliated with somehow through the car industry. I mean, it's harsh. I mean, when you go back there, I mean, wasn't that long ago. I want to say 2019, that's where we stayed, the Townsend Hotel is Birmingham, Michigan, and where all the teams stay. And you're taking the bus in, and still as you're heading into Detroit, you just see factories that are still, they've been left for dead forever.
Yeah.
They've been rotted out for years. So just building after building after building after building.
Sounds like Western PA.
And that's what Dan Gilbert is trying to rejuvenate and trying to change the city of Detroit, which once was one of the jewels of our country.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned with the automotive industry, GM, Ford, everything going on, and then
Chrysler.
Yeah, I mean, Pontiac. And we're talking about car companies that are no longer. So it's
and good. And you start thinking about, as you mentioned, when you start talking about, because I think the Pistons, haven't they moved back towards downtown? They used to be Auburn Hills, but I think they moved back.
I think they got a new. Did they get a new arena? I think they did
because they weren't Auburn Hills. Wings, and then of course the football and the baseball are right across the street from each other.
Yeah, and then the Red Wings got a new arena finally. The Little Caesars, I think it's called Little Caesars because the Ilitch family, they obviously own them. So good for Detroit. New stadiums, Lions playing well. Ford Field is a beautiful stadium for what I've seen on TV.
And you mentioned the Ilitch family and the dad who passed away. Seemed like everything that you heard was a wonderful man, but did exactly what I hope we never do, even when you have money. Don't go out and blow it on a couple few guys. It's a disaster. I get it. You wanted to pay Verlander. You so overpaid Miguel Cabrera, which set you back.
Yeah.
They were throwing money at it. They had a chance, lost to the Giants in the World Series in 2012, but they had their run. But it's like you got to be smart. You got to have payroll flexibility. We're seeing it over and over again. When you just dump a ton of money into a group of players, they get expensive, they get old, and it really hampers you for a long time.
Yeah.
Don't do it. I'm not saying don't spend money, but you've got to have a certain threshold of where you want to spend, and then that gives you the flexibility. Remember, they dumped way too much money into Victor Martinez, too much money into Miguel Cabrera,
Jordan Zimmerman.
and then next thing you know, what'd you have? I mean, well, God, they had the guy from Vanderbilt went for the Rays.
David Price.
They were throwing so much money at guys, and in the end, you didn't win, and then you go through a long period of time. You got to be flexible with your payroll. In a sport that doesn't have a salary cap, which hope to God someday we get, you got to be flexible with the payroll. Yes, you got to spend money, but don't spend way too much. You want to have that flexibility, and you got to utilize your farm system. You constantly got to produce younger players, because what happens with guys in their prime, they get old, they get expensive, and then they're not good, and then you're losing. That's my 2 cents. Am I that far off?
No, because they did a really bad job of developing
Look at
guys.
Philadelphia, and after Philly wins, they won in 08, then lost in 09 to the Yankees, and then they fell off a cliff.
Because they signed all those guys to long-term deals, and it killed the franchise.
As Ricky Waters once said, for who, for what, don't do it.
Oh, speaking of great Philadelphia athletes.
49er.
Yeah.
Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Is it time for you want to give Kotsay?
Yeah.
All righty, everybody. The Treehouse. And this is great to see. This reminds me of what the Treehouse looked like when we first opened it up. Vibrant, people everywhere, people happy, people drinking, people eating, people having a good time. That's what it was meant for. It's great to see. We'll have one more time in the Treehouse when the Bronx Bombers are in town, and that's when I can bust out my really bad Yankees impression or Yankee fan impression, because there'll be all the front-running Yankee fans here.
Well,
by the way,
right there.
Last time I checked, the Yankees last 81 games were 40-41.
Yeah, they're not playing well. Rizzo got a big ovation today at Wrigley.
Bullpen not very good. Who won that game?
Yankees did.
So the Yankees' last 82 games are just 41-41, not playing. Hey, does anybody have a good bullpen?
San Diego, but they blew it last night.
Other than San Diego.
They blew it last night.
I mean, whose bullpen right now are you saying? I mean, Leclerc and Spores last year, the Rangers got through with basically 2 guys, but who's going into the postseason right now where you go, I love that bullpen? Maybe San Diego, and that's it.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, they had to trade for all those guys. Jason Adam. They had to get
D-backs has been better.
Yeah. Well, I know they eventually want to get Sewald back into the closer role.
Yeah.
But AJ, someone put a graphic of AJ Pucks is like June 19th. Has been unbelievable.
You want JJ Bleday or AJ Puck?
I'll take Bleday, but
Yeah.
but we're talking about for Arizona.
I
He's been
told you so. All right, it's Friday, so I'm doing TV tomorrow. I'll be back on Sunday. I'll be on the postgame tomorrow.
Alumni Sunday.
Alumni Sunday. We'll be here getting it done.
And then we're back on Tuesday against the Astros.
We have Monday off.
It's off day, yeah.
Tuesday against the Astros. Up next, the Mark Kotsay Show. I'll talk to everybody after the game on the A's Clubhouse Show, 833-625-2278. Thank you.
You got to go slower for Cabby.
Huh?
You got to go slower for Cabby.
Oh, Cabby. Thank you for watching A's Cast Live. Enjoy the Mark Kotsay Show.
The Mark Kotsay Show right here on A's Cast, brought to you by Nest Bedding. Love where you sleep. Check out their location in the Bay Area, or you go to nestbedding.com. It's the mattress he sleeps on and the mattress Ricky Henderson sleeps on. How are you?
I'm well. We're sitting on, I think, is this a Nest Bedding couch?
I don't know. This is where when you you're a little angry and you want to stay the night here, this is where you hang out.
Yeah, we've only done that once, and it's pretty scary, I tell you.
It's a lot of ghosts in this place. Really cool. And I know this is going to play throughout the week, but today the Tigers are in town, and Jim Leyland, new Hall of Famer, is a consultant still for the Tigers, and he's been on the show plenty of times, but we're having the new Hall of Famer, Jim Leyland, on A's Cast Live, and I know how much this man means to you.
Yeah, he means the world to me. He was my, obviously, first major league manager, first influence in my career to become a manager, really. And I have such great memories of Jimmy. My call up in 1997 was July 11th, and he's managing this team. It's the World Series championship, soon to be team. I was 21 years old. I get called up from Double-A, and I get to the locker room. I land at like 11:30 in the afternoon, and I go straight to the field.
Is this old Joe Robbie?
This is Joe Robbie, pro player. I couldn't be more excited about being there. And I am sitting in my locker. It's probably 12:30 in the afternoon. Now, guys are getting here these days at like 12:30 in the afternoon. Well, back then, you didn't have the batting cage that we did the interview in before. You didn't have the facilities. There wasn't food out for you. This is 97. So I'm sitting there, and Jim walks in, and he says, "What the hell are you doing here?" And can you imagine? I'm 21. I'm like, am I supposed – I'm not – you called me up, right? He goes, congratulations. You're hitting 3. Good luck. It's Kurt Schilling. You know who he is? I'm like, yeah, I know who he is. So it was, he's an amazing person. He's so well-rounded. He's musically inclined. His talent's just like, there's so many talents he has. But the biggest one and the best one of all is just his heart, man. His heart is so pure and so genuine. And that Hall of Fame speech, I sat here and watched that in my office and had tears coming down my eyes. He's an incredible man.
What's so interesting about life, and baseball is the same way, is that the people who are the best managers of other people are truly great communicators. We always want to talk about strategy and what your lineup is and data and all this, but really the job of a manager is you're not only your own staff, but the players. And when you think of guys like Jim Leyland, you think of like Bruce Bochy, Bob Melvin, who you were under here. I mean, guys that, great managers are people who understand and know how to treat people.
Yeah, you definitely have to have a trust. There's no question. And in any managing position, I think that's first and foremost. It's just developing the relationship and building the trust. If you don't have that, then, I think at the end of the day, you're going to fail. And Jimmy showed me that right away with building the relationship with me. Even started before the first time I got called up. It was throughout spring training. Boch and my lasting friendship with Boch was because as a player, he built that relationship. And so it's very valuable to have those types of relationships when you're managing people.
So how important is it for you to get to know these guys, to know, because there's going to be some days things aren't going so hot. You don't know if that's because of what's happened away from the field, just having the pulse of your players.
Yeah, it definitely helps. And, you just start from day one. You start to get to know them. You try to get to know them, not just as baseball players, but as people, things that they enjoy, things they do off the field. This group's been really great, and with guys like Shea Langelier and Brent Rooker, they host, kind of team functions on off days. They get guys over to the house. They had 16 people on an off day for a barbecue with the kids and the families. And you don't see that culture a lot in the major leagues.
Sad, but you think it would happen more. When you start thinking about Lawrence Butler, I know we can talk about keep your head still, a little more weight on the back, maybe a little change with the front foot. But when you're going this hot, there's something special going on. Just talk about when a player is this hot. Mitch Spence brought it up the other day. It's like Barry Bonds. I mean, this has been really special hot.
Yeah, it has been. And, we always knew that there was this ability in Lawrence. The tools have always been there. I've watched his progression. I've really been one of Lawrence's bigger fans in this organization since I saw him as a young kid. He reminded me, of Michael Harris, with the Atlanta Braves,
Yeah.
which they're really close. They're friends.
Cliff Floyd, a guy
Floyd and Jason Hayward. I remember Hayward when I was with the Braves in 2008, my first spring training, when I got traded from the A's to the Braves. This young kid steps in the cage, and the sound off the bat was just different. And that was Jason Hayward at like 18 years old or 19 years old. And so Lawrence has always impressed me with the tools. And this season, it's been more about the maturation. It's been more about the mindset that he's been able to change. You know, if you watch him early in the season, failure, he takes it personal. And he said that even, I think, on one of the MLB interviews, that he cried when he got out every at-bat in Little League. And that was confirmed this last road trip in Cincinnati by his father that I got to meet, post-game and talk to for 5-10 minutes about Lawrence. And, he would say, hey, even in Little League, Lawrence would cry. And he takes it personal. He does not like to fail. And some people get pissed off. I used to break helmets, bats, maybe some sinks in the bathrooms. But hey, look, Lawrence is the opposite. Lawrence will go there and put his head down, put his hands on his head, and that's the way he copes. But to see him be able to transition, to see him understand that this game's really hard, that there's a lot of failure. You fail 20, or you succeed 27% of the time. Now you're above league average, well above league average. So, that growth has been great for Lawrence.
So what's interesting is we've seen the very low of Lawrence Butler, and we've now seen the extreme high. Big question is, what's the baseline?
Hey, the baseline would be something in the middle would be great. And, the success he's had over the last 2 months is incredible. I'm hoping that he can continue over these next 22 games to continue in that facet. But you always know, this game is peaks and valleys, but the way to be great is to shorten the valley, right? To shorten that valley, to just be consistent, enjoy the peaks, but stay out of those valleys. And I think he's done a great job of that.
Speaking of young guys, Jacob Wilson, he was on such a heater, gets hurt. Now he comes back. What have you seen so far, and what do you expect the rest of the way?
Well, the expectation for Jacob is to stay on the field, really. We want to see him stay healthy for the remainder of the season, give him every opportunity. Obviously, we're going to have to give him a day off here and there. But I want to watch his progress. The game sped up on him yesterday. The game beat him. It embarrassed him on a play at shortstop. And that's a learning experience. That's, part of being young, and that's part of my job to be patient, but it's also part of my job, to remind him and to continue to help him become, a solid, above average, everyday big leaguer. And we've seen growth in that room from quite a few of those guys that are now, I think you can refer to them as solid, everyday big leaguers. But we couldn't say that last year. And I think Jacob's just a little bit behind that group in there, but that's okay. He's a lot younger too. So, for me, he took some quality at-bats. He's taken some quality at-bats. He hasn't got the hits necessarily that he gets rewarded for in AAA or in AA. It's a different game here, And my message is pretty funny when guys line out or guys hit balls 103 and they get caught at the warning track. I say, well, I can always send you to Vegas and you
way
can
out
get rewarded there.
When I think of Brent Rooker, everybody likes to talk about the future, right? We're talking about, look how good this team, the future of what this team could be. I'm kind of reminding everybody, when a guy has an unbelievable year, this could be the best year of his career. We need to sit back and enjoy it, right? 35 home runs now. Who knows? Maybe he gets to 40, what a huge number is. And that's a number that, old schoolers say back of the baseball card. Now it's your baseball reference page. That stays there forever. Just talk about watching this season and how just sit back and enjoy this year because it's been so special.
Yeah, it really has, and he's done all this with a forearm that he probably is going to have surgery on after the season, which is another unbelievable character, outlier for Rook that no one knows about. But it's been fun to watch. I from last spring training when I said congratulations to him, you're the 26th man on the team, to today, I couldn't be more happier for a player that's really grinded, persevered, been, designated from 3 teams, and now, is a bona fide big league middle of the order bat.
And I'm trying to remind people, because we're always talking about outfield, right? It's like, well, he'll be back next year playing some outfield.
Yeah, he will. He will, because this thing will be taken care of. And, he's a solid defender. He's a solid left fielder. It opens up that DH spot for some guys to go through and cycle through it next year. But couldn't be more excited about Rook and just the accolades that he's putting up again.
The big difference that I've noticed between you and Jim Leyland is that when I come in here, you never have like a cigarette going with your shirt off, watching the ponies.
I've been watching the ponies. Him and I used to go to Calder Racetrack 12 o'clock in the afternoon. He's the one that got me into it. He got me into it. You know, and the other thing quickly, I know we got to go, but Jim Leyland drove me to my interview with the Tigers when that job became AJ Hinch's. Jimmy was a part of my process, you know, and I couldn't be more thankful just for the relationship and for, like I said, the mentor that he was to me.
It's stuff like that that shows you how special our game is.
Yeah, how special and really how, you know, close-knit and in the relationship side, you know, of this game it can be.
We'll talk to you next week on the road.
All right.
Mark Kotsay Show brought to you by NestBedding.com. Love where you sleep.
This is Commander Cody, and fall is upon us, and Linksole has dropped their new fall line. New pants fit for a more custom experience with elevated layers and performance polos to help transition from season to season, no matter if you're wearing them out on the golf course, out to dinner, or just hanging out with friends. Some effortless looks to help you find the right look and feel for any occasion. Go to their website, linksole.com. That's linksole.com, and find out how you can unlock 20% off your next order. Remember, in the big leagues, to play good, you got to look good.
This has been a presentation of the Oakland Athletics.